Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being so patient. Today's webinar is about the new payroll accounting report. How to interact today, just like all of our other webinars, we've got about a 30-minute time slot to talk with you all about this new report, and the audio is going to be one way, so please use the chat room as you've already been doing to type in your questions. We've got Rebecca Jones in the house, our training coordinator. She'll collect all the questions, and we'll do the Q&A at the end. As always, we're going to record this webinar and post it along with the slides on our CC Info website. And you see the link there. And we also have a step-by-step PDF guidebook available out there as well for this report, and an additional PDF that talks about the basic SaaS Web Studio tool, how to navigate, and the commands that you can use on the tool where this report is run from. My name is Kelly Huggins. I'm with the ITS Change Management Department here, and I am joined by Robin Burt, Finance Business Systems Manager. We also have some guest speakers who don't have a picture on the slide, but Chris Lawless is here.
Let's hurry up all the way.
The purpose of this webinar, we are going to talk about and explain the payroll accounting report, and we're going to talk about the features and some of the tools that the Web Report Studio tool uses. We'll be posting more reports on that tool, so we'll just talk about some of the features and how it's different from other reports. So let's just dive in. What do you need to know about the payroll accounting report? I think Robin can explain that to us, tell us what's special about this report and how it's going to help everyone.
Thank you, Kelly. This new report, Payroll Accounting Report, is sort of a companion to the Labor Expense Summary Report that was rolled out when the Payroll Accounting Adjustment Tool went live in October. The Labor Expense Summary Report gave you a perspective by pay period, and it was a perspective of where that pay period ended up, no matter how many times it might have been retro for a particular employee. It gave you the most current view of that pay period. However, the Payroll Accounting Report will now give you a trail of any retros that were done for a particular pay period and employee, and will show you, the original charge for the pay period, and then any retros that might have been done on that particular pay period and employee since the original charge was made. So it's going to give you that accounting trail and more accounting details, especially the accounting date that each transaction hit the system.
So just to clarify, I'm hearing that it gives you the accounting date of the transaction. That's a good takeaway. And then it also gives you the trail so you can see how the action took place and not just post to a payroll.
That's right.
Okay. So another question a lot of people ask is, how can I search on this payroll accounting report? What are my main filters here? So we've got your business unit, of course, UNC, CH, or GA, whatever you have access to, you'll see that. And the fiscal year, these two will be already have defaults in place. You can change them, but they're the only two filters that have defaults in place, and the fiscal year will always default to the current fiscal year. And as we all know, we're in 2017 right now. So then the accounting date, you can do the chart fields, the fund, the source, the account, the project. You can also put in an MOU, and then that will bring up a list of departments associated with that MOU. You can also talk about and define the expense type and look up a particular employee using their PIN. And also you could narrow your search to a particular payroll run ID. So let's also talk about some of the things that you'll see on the output, the actual payroll accounting report when you guys pull it up on your screen, download it into Excel, print it out, however you're going to use it. what are you going to see? So of course, again, I don't think we'll say this maybe 100 more times. You'll see the accounting date, a transaction posted. You'll see the full chart field string and the project end date. You'll see the employee's name, their PID. You'll also get the paycheck number that was impacted. You'll see the pay begin and end date, the payroll run ID, and then you'll see a breakdown of expenses by payment type, and we will define these in just a sec, but earnings, taxes, benefits, star. Also, there's another column out there for application journal ID, or the column heading actually says Apple Journal ID. You could either see payroll, PAT, how do you say that, EXT?
External retro.
Yep, and payroll adjustment?
Yes.
Okay. And then, of course, what good would the report be if you didn't see the monetary amount? But we do not only show that in monetary amounts, but also in the effort percentage. So taking a closer look at the payment types, the big thing here, it shows the earnings, taxes, and benefits. These three payment types are pulled directly from a table in Connect Carolina, whereas the benefits star column for that amount is calculated. It's not pulled directly from the table. That includes your severance pay, composite benefit fund, on-campus transit fee, and communication technology core fee. Also, there are a lot of account numbers, obviously, that support each type of expense. And if you do go out to the CC Info website, where we do have that step-by-step PDF guidebook for you for this report, I've got all the accounts for each expense type listed, so to make it super clear. What you'll see in the application journal ID column, so again, just to add some clarity here, there's 4 possibilities. You'll either see the word payroll, and that represents a regular payroll. You can see PAAT, you can see PAT for the payroll accounting adjustment tool, knowing that that transaction was done in PAT. There's also the external retro, which represents the short-term retros. Robin, that was before PAT.
That's correct.
Yep, before PAT came into play. And then the payroll adjustment. And this refers to that March 2015 redistribution of several payrolls. I do list them here on this slide, but again, that is in the step-by-step guidebook, so you don't really have to quickly jot these down, but you've got your biweekly listed on the first bullet there, and your monthlies listed on the second bullet. Month 6, 7, and 8 are represented. What's included in the percent of effort column? Another thing that we just want to clarify, because for the purposes of this report, Chris, tell us more about what makes this a little different than what people typically think about.
So anyone who's familiar with the effort reporting knows that the effort certification represents their time spent for which they were compensated by UNC by salary and wage. But for the payroll accounting report, this is also going to include stipends. Stipends are not effort traditionally for effort reporting purposes, because stipends are basically funds that are given to an employee while they're going through training, so it's not for time. But for the purposes of the payroll accounting, because postdoc and fellows can be paid through the payroll system, we are bringing those stipends into this report as well.
And those are paid by either?
Yes, so anything that goes through the payroll system, whether it be a normal payroll, the regular pay, a lump sum payment for extra work that someone might have performed, or for a postdoc or fellow receiving a stipend through the payroll system. All of that will be incorporated into this payroll accounting report.
Okay. All right, so let's jump in and just kind of run through the motions of running this payroll accounting report. I think most of you will find this very easy. It does look a little different, but it's pretty intuitive. First of all, you're going to navigate through InfoPort, so you'll go to the Finance app, and then you'll click on the Finance Reporting tab, and then you'll see some sub-tabs show up just about an inch below Finance Reporting, and you'll see an option there for Personnel. When you click on Personnel, you'll see the link for the Payroll Accounting Report. So one thing that you do need to know that you'll need enhanced finance reporting level access to see that sub-level or that the sub-taxes, or I'm sorry, the sub-tabs there where you'll see personnel. So I already had somebody ask me today about that, and so they'll have to get the enhanced finance reporting level access to get those tabs. So as I mentioned already, your filters will come up. The first two, there are default settings already in place, your business unit and your fiscal year. You can change those, of course, if you have options. Then you'll drop down and you'll see the ability to enter your date, your accounting date range. Again, I don't think anything here is startling. You can enter your range type, year to date, month to date, or you could hit a range type of custom and then drop down to the next two boxes there and use either the month icon over on the right or just type it in if you want to put in a particular date. So just one thing to keep in mind, references to year, when you see that in this SaaS Web Studio report tool, they are referring to the calendar year. They're not referring to the fiscal year, so year to date is going to start January 1st. So then the next filter that comes up is the fund code. You can see on the left, you've got a whole bunch of options there, just a nice list. At the very top of every filter here, you're going to see all possible values. So you'll also see that by default, it appears on the right side under the selected list. So one of the nice things about this tool is it has a few things put in place for you because you always have to have a value for every single filter. You can't leave a filter blank. So you're either going to select a particular fund code or a group of fund codes that you want to look at, or you're going to have to leave all possible values. So over here in the selected list box, this can never be blank. And a couple times when you're kind of scrolling up and down and you're running through the filters, just a little tip to look out for, because when you actually do go to run the report, it won't highlight anything with yellow. It'll just tell you it can't run the report. So the first thing I just suggest, just something until you get used to it, is take a look back and just real quickly glance at all your filters, making sure that you have a value over here in the selected list. So you will have your search results over here on the left, and you can select multiple funds. Again, I think we already are familiar with some of these functions. You can select consecutive codes if you click on the top, and then you hold down the Shift key, and then you click on, the one on the bottom. It'll highlight everything in between. If you want to select fund codes for anything from a list here that's not consecutive, you just hold down the Control key and click on the ones you want. So those two things work the same here, but once you have highlighted what you want to search, then all you need to do is click on that arrow in the middle, and it will move it from the left over to the right. If you want to remove something from your selected list, just highlight it over here on the right, and then go ahead and click on the X button, and that'll take it out of your selected list. So you're going to follow this same procedure for all the filters. So we had our fund code first, and you'll see they look very similar. I've already changed. We're looking at the sources here. Then you can look at the accounts here. So all the filters look the same, where you have your search results on the left, you highlight them, you move over here, click on the arrow, and then they'll pop over here on the right in your selected list box. Your expense type, remember earnings, taxes, benefits, and benefits star. So the MOU filter comes up first, giving you an opportunity to narrow your search here. So you could pick your MOU, and then if you don't click a particular one, all possible values is already over there, but you do need to click on the apply button so that the system will then display the numbers in the next filter. So then the next filter, here's your department. Again, working the same way. Here's project numbers. Now, if you guys know the project number, what you can do is you could just enter it directly into the text box below the search results list on the left. And any filter that you see that has this box, you could type in a number directly. And then you would go ahead and use the arrow here, and it would pop up here on your selected side. But notice that all possible values is already over there on the right. So if you use this bottom text box here to type in a number directly and use this arrow, you will have to manually highlight all possible values and delete it. So that's not really a bug, that's just sort of how the system works. It's just one extra step there. So just finishing up with the filters, you can look at a particular person, and you can also filter by a payroll run ID. So some of these also you might think, I don't know the number, or maybe I know a portion of it, or something like that, and wouldn't it be great if we could search? So you can search, of course, and all you need to do is click on that magnifying glass, and it opens up the search function. And it does open it up in a new window, which is nice. But just something to keep in mind, this will pop up on your screen. And then you can kind of see it works the same way as Connect Carolina in that you have a filter here where you can pick whether it contains a value or whether it matches the value. So you have a few options, but over here you can type in either an alpha or a numeric value, and then go ahead and click on the search button, and your results will pop up here on the left. Again, just like all the other filters, it's getting kind of redundant here. You highlight what you want over here on the left, you hit the arrow, and it will pop up over here on the selected. Once you have everything over here on the selected list that you want to filter your report by, go ahead and click select, and it'll take you back to your list of filters. So if you're going through these filters and you just want a blank slate again, you just want to start over, you'll see at the very top of the report there is a reset to default link. But just a tip, it's only visible when you're at the very top of the report. As you scroll down through these filters, you know, there's less than 10 of them here. There's not too many, but you do have to scroll up and down to see them all. So, you know, you won't see this link until you get to the very top of the report. But if you're happy with the choices that you've made, then you're ready to run the report. Click on the View Report button. And you'll get this sort of page here where it just gives you a little brief summary there while it's moving, and you'll see the spinny thing over on the right side. It's telling you it's processing. But what I want to highlight is just that there is a little link in blue. It says cancel. So if perhaps you've done just this giant search, it's taking too long, or whatever, you need to interrupt your search to go do something else, you are able to hit a cancel button to stop this process. Once this stops processing, it will then display your report. So what I've done here is I've just captured one row of information and all the column headings, and I just want to talk about Okay, it sounds like it's good. Sorry about that. So again, just picking up, we're walking through the columns that are actually on the report. So you'll see the name, you'll see the chart field string, starting with the fund code, source account. We do have an account description there for you. Here's where you'll see the expense type. Remember, we mentioned you will see earnings, taxes, benefits, or benefits star. The first three are pulled directly from the table, but benefit star is a calculation. Again, if you're trying to take notes or anything, this is in the step-by-step guide, so you don't need to. We've got the account department, the department description, program code, project ID, project end date would also appear here, as well as your cost codes 1, 2, and 3, paycheck number, run ID, your pay begin and end date here, your Apple Journal ID or your application journal ID, your 4 possibilities there, payroll, PAT, external retro, or payroll adjustment. And those 4 we previously defined, and they're also in the step-by-step guide. Finally, you see how much money we're talking about, and then you can also see the effort percentage. So that refers to, as Chris mentioned, not only all of your typical effort reporting things like salary and wages, but it would also include stipends, which you may not typically think of in effort reporting, but on this report they are included. Remember, all the account numbers that are used in these effort percentage and expense type categories are defined on the step-by-step PDF guide. So once you have this report, you see it on your screen. If you've been in InfoPort, you know that there's a couple things you can do. You can click on any column heading. This works the same in the SAS Web Studio report tool. So you can sort by clicking on a column heading, or if you want to sort using multiple columns, you can right-click anywhere in your report. It'll bring up your menu. If you click on Sort Priority, you can actually prioritize the sorting order by each column, ascending or descending, and then you can pick your order here, and then you just click on OK. Also, you'll see the File menu over on the left. You'll see, again, some real familiar things, how to open, close, print, export. But, you know, 2 things kind of might be curious about. We're not using that comments option. We're not using right now the manage files. At any point, if you want to just, you're done, you've run your report, you've exported it, you've printed it out, and you're ready to run another report using a different department number or a different project ID or whatever, just go ahead and click on the data menu, and you'll see there's only one option there for refresh data, and that's how you go back to the filter page and you can start a new search. So in summary, just want to kind of bring home some of the training points here. The payroll accounting report shows the accounting date of when the payroll transaction posted on a chart field string, and it gives you the trail of the accounting actions, not just the end result. Robin explained that in the beginning. There will be a breakdown of expenses by payment type. You can also see application journal ID and effort percentages. You'll navigate through InfoPort to get to this report. It's not exactly in InfoPort. It's a SAS Web Studio reporting tool, so you will need the enhanced financial reporting access in InfoPort. Anything you want to add, Robin or Chris?
No, you covered it all. You did great.
Any questions you all have for us? I'm going to mute the microphone for just a second. You got questions? questions is this report available yet? And the answer is yes. It went live this morning. So I'm actually very excited to say it's out there. And where can you get the slides? That was the second question that came up. And everything will be available on CC Info. So I went ahead and posted the step-by-step training guide. And then what happens as far as these slides, this recorded webinar, it just takes a little bit to sort of compress the file before we can post it. So I expect that'll be, today and just, in an hour or so. I don't know how long that normally takes, but just about an hour or two, and then you'll have access to all these slides.
There's more questions. I'll read them to you.
Okay. There's more questions.
Okay, the question came in, when does the data load? Is it just after the payroll lockout date or on the actual payday?
The payroll information loads the same day that you're used to seeing it hit the reports and info port, like the ledger roll-up and the transactions tab, which is usually after lockout date, but before payday.
Okay, another question is, will the figures on this report match the ledger roll-up figures per account?
Yes, it will. The tables that create those ledger roll-up reports are the same tables that we're pulling from for this payroll accounting report.
Okay. If a person has more than one funding source, will they each show as well as percent effort for each source?
Yes, if you are searching by a particular employee, you will get the full picture for that employee. If you have specified, particular chart fields, you'll get the information applicable to that chart field stream.
Will the option to sort by department become available?
You can sort by department. You just pick the MOU. You can already sort by department. You pick the MOU, and then it will generate all the department numbers for that MOU, or in the filter where you are supposed to select your MOU, you can simply select all possible values, and then the next filter for departments will give you every department available in our system. So you can definitely search by department, and then you could even click on the search button on the department filter if you knew the first three numbers or something like that. So that's already available.
Can this be downloaded to Excel?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like you normally do, you can right-click, and on the menu, you'll see export, or it's actually the export features under the file menu as well. Are we waiting for more?
I think they're all in the system testing. They're all getting their information up.
So I got a question.
I'm not allowed that.
I'm not allowed that question. But somebody emailed me about they didn't see the sub tab. So how does one go about getting enhanced financial access? Is that already determined for campus users?
I know, when that was first rolled out, it was already predetermined. I'll have to check to find out what the business process is to request new users to be added. I'll get back to you on that.
Right.
Okay, here's the question. I think it is,
What if?
what if you don't see the payroll reporting option under financial reporting?
So that's what I was just asking. That's what I was just talking about, that this is only available to those users who already have the enhanced financial reporting access. So you won't see it unless that's already in place for you. And it did go live this morning, so those that do have it are already seeing the link. So that's something that you would have to request.
Right, and just make sure after financial reporting that you click on the personnel tab, then you'll see payroll accounting reports. So just don't forget that middle step.
Right, right. Okay, everyone. It's 10:36, so we've made good use of the 30 minutes that we've had here. Again, we'll post this recording like we do all of our webinars on the CC Info website. You'll be able to see the training materials already posted out there. You can type in payroll accounting report. You can type in any variation of those words, and you should be able to find it. I put a couple search words there for you to make it easy. And the webinar will be posted as soon as it can, just a few hours, and that will include, of course, the slides. So I think we're going to wrap it up, and thank you all for calling in today. Thank you. Bye.